What's up? What's down?
Hello, guys.
What's in between?
How are y'all doing? Welcome to
ThinkShack.
And this is Ramsey.
And this is Jean.
And we are keyed as hell.
Yes.
Something we always say.
Yeah, we're in the keyhole.
It's actually pretty late while we're recording this. Well, is it late really? It's a Sunday. It's a Sunday night, so it feels late. But 10:15 isn't that late.
Technically, it's early because Sunday is the first day of the week, right?
Yeah. We have a head start on the week.
Oh yeah.
So this is episode 20. 2 episodes ago, we were legal, and as you can see now, we're making quite some progress. And we have like a lot of exciting things to talk about today.
Yeah.
There's been a lot going on around. Trevor was kind enough to give us a lot of research, and I also went and did some research. So there's gonna be a lot to discuss.
We haven't done this in a while, but let's ask the viewers. How was your week? Tell us. This is 2 weeks ago, but tell us in the comments.
I actually did this an episode or 2 ago when I asked our followers on Instagram what they're planning for their weekend, and we got like so many responses.
Yeah, someone said something funny about how he's gonna, I don't know,
clap some cheeks. Yeah. Yeah.
Clap Cheeks Johnson.
And another one was like he's following Chad Kirubi's stories, and I was like, who the hell is Chad Kirubi? But he showed me, and Chad Kirubi is actually, it's a really funny Instagram page. Just go check it out. This guy basically does candids of people. Like he walks around in nightclubs in random places with his camera, and then let's say there's a couple kissing. He secretly films it and zooms in, and then he turns the phone back on himself and is like, Ndoyo Demiako, anakuliwa. And then, like, literally, he just does candids.
Wait, so that means how many people are kissing around? Or was that just an example?
No, like, he does that. Like, so many videos of his are about, like, I don't know, he really emphasizes how people are being cheated on out here. That's possible, but it's an interesting page.
We're coming back, and I don't know, we're not going to mention names or anything like that,
right?
But there's a friend of yours who kept telling every single person who cared to listen, don't get into relationships.
Don't get into, oh my god.
You're gonna meet that girl. Then we asked him what the story was with him and this girl. He's like, oh, don't get me started.
Heartbreakingly me scared of this.
Me scared of megaphone.
Yeah.
It's like I've heard,
and we were like really curious to know the story, but he kept stalling. It's like
he kept stalling. He was building what?
Yeah, exactly. You ever met someone like that? They're like lakini wacha tu.
You know what's crazy?
You're like nini.
He was taking every opportunity.
We are gonna have to pause.
Alright, just give me a second before we pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. Pause it. That's the.
Mine is still recording.
Food?
Yeah.
No, pause it. You have to pause it.
I can't.
Forgot the password. This is an answer to stay on. It shouldn't be deleted. Oh wait, that will be.
Okay, now I can pause.
Was that 8 seconds?
Yeah, I think so. So
that's
anyway, so like I was saying, this guy kept stalling. You ever meet those guys that start to tell you something and then
like, hey? And then you look at them, you're like, should I ask them? Because you know their character. And you ask them, they're like, watch it. And then they walk off. Like, was that the plan all along?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a catfish. That's basically blue balls.
That's basically blue balls for curiosity. Yeah. So what story did he tell? You gotta tell the listeners.
He was talking about how you can't really own a person. I was like, okay, where is this coming from? Probably someone cheated on him. But no, that was not the case.
Probably someone hurt him or, treated him like shit. But that was not the case either.
It just turned out that these guys had started to drift apart. The girl tried to reach out to him.
And he was a dick.
I can't be doing this to you.
Yeah.
Like, you said you're sorry, I'm okay with it.
So one day the girl tells him, I'm tired. I've been trying to get your attention this whole time and I haven't, so I'm leaving.
And he's like, if you feel like that, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I've put you through that. I won't be doing it anymore. And then he leaves her. The girl's like, what?
Nah, that's not the thing he said. What he said was when the girl left him, he didn't even bother fighting for it. He was like, oh, if you want to live, it's okay. And then we asked him, but you were the one on the wrong. Why didn't you fight for her?
Say sorry?
And then he said, well, as a man, because she'd left, there was no way I could let her back. You need to be firm in your decisions and assertive as a man. And
he was talking about how he was so depressed for so many months.
And he used to miss her, but he would never talk to her because...
I would never talk to her ever.
So, first of all, the heartbreak was self-inflicted because basically he fucked up in the relationship relationship. And then when he got left, he decided because he's red pill, he can't beg the girl to come back or say sorry.
For a heartbreak. And then, had to give himself one.
And then he had the heartbreak. And then here's the thing. After that, the gospel is, watch out, my dem sick to poor.
Like you can't own someone. How does that have to do with it?
It's basically no one can own him, is what he was trying to say. Because someone tried it clearly.
He
the funniest thing is actually earlier you weren't there when he said this because it was at the football field. He told me that like he plays a lot of.
He's not listening to this.
Of course he's gonna listen to this. He plays a lot of Call of Duty, and he's like, "Mucheza Call of Duty." Unajua by the end uliniachisha demu yangu. Jua alikuwa anapiga niko Call of Duty. Sasa siwezi acha.
It's like an alcoholic saying, like, I don't know why I got divorced. Okay, I know it because I went out and cheated on her with a bunch of different people.
Like, alcoholism will kill you. Yeah. And then he starts telling you stories about like how they tried to take him to Alcoholics Anonymous a couple of times, and then he'd like sneak a beer in there and drink one. And then comes and tells you, you really should stop drinking.
Stop drinking.
It says
like, it screwed me up so bad. It made me lose so many opportunities.
Proceeds to miss the next one. So like, yeah, that was the weirdest heartbreak I have ever heard of. Like a self-inflicted heartbreak.
Nobody does that. Like that's such a special thing. You should have a Guinness World Record. How do you even do that?
I know.
In your right mind.
Like first you hurt the girl, then when she leaves you, you decide that your pride won't let you ask for forgiveness, and then you suffer for months as you try to heal.
You come to the conclusion that you can't.
And then you come to the conclusion that women are terrible creatures. You should never do.
Logic left the chat.
Oh my god, it's gonna make a great short.
Welcome to ThinkShack.
So we are reviewing
drinking Viceroy.
Viceroy.
Sounds like the name of a vampire.
Yeah. Did you know that the Viceroy is actually a butterfly?
Really?
Yeah, it's these little orange butterflies with black lines. They're known as viceroys.
Viceroy will turn into a butterfly.
Yeah, and interestingly, the dark brown, the orange, to my eyes, it kind of looks like they may have borrowed some of that, from the butterfly.
I like the way they dress it up. It looks like it's wearing fishnets. Fishnets used to be a nice thing. I don't know why people don't wear them. Well, guys who wear them.
They wear them. Shame. Wait, what? Guys wear fishnets? We were at
an piano event yesterday. You saw the kind of clothes people were wearing.
I mean, some of them were pretty gay, though.
Yeah, no, they were very gay.
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, like,
pretty, to be honest.
Some of them didn't look like straight guys, so I can understand.
Really, so fishnets, they need to come back for women, but you see how sexy this thing looks?
Yeah.
It's like a legging stocking.
I think the Viceroy's bottle design is pretty unique, you have to admit. I have not seen a lot of bottles that incorporated sisal or whatever that is.
And it looks like a fishnet, like I'm saying. Imagine if you go to Kiambu and you find the Mauritania version of it.
Yeah.
With a kamisi instead of like this fishnet.
I would put, do you know the lace?
Yeah.
Design a bottle but have it laced.
Oh, yeah.
Like lingerie type lace.
I've seen some really sexy lingerie. One that says "kiss me at the crotch." Like,
oh wow, that's beautiful. Yeah, I would do that. That is, you see, that is nice because now not only is my food bared before me, but it also has character. Yeah. It's feisty. It says, "Come kiss me."
It's wonderful. Yeah. But Viceroy has this like old man sex appeal. It looks like something.
It does. It looks regal.
At the speakeasy or something like that, some random bar or whatever.
Interestingly, just throw in a few more facts about brandy here. Like,
just a quick one before you say that. This is kind of like Konyagi in a way. Konyagi doesn't like to be specific. It says it's just fine African spirit. This one says pot still brandy content. This is not a drink, my friend. This is content.
Brandy content. What's that?
Blended content.
Blended content. Oh yeah, no.
Brandy content.
Blended brandy or what?
Pot still brandy content.
Pot stilled. Pot stilled. Wow. I think
so it's
maybe
not drink. It's content.
Yeah.
It's like
alcoholic content. The contents of this bottle. It's like, okay, so this is like from a South African vineyard or something. I forgot the name. Like, it's been around since 1940. And I was, just looking more into brandies, and brandies usually made from grapes. Like wine, it's just that when the fruit is made to ferment, they what's the word? They draw out the wine
express
at express at a little higher temperature than actual wine is made. And then after that, they age it in cellar casks, and you get brandy. So it's like a kind of, actually, brandy comes from the Dutch brandy something wine, brandewijn, which means like burnt wine, because that's the vibe it gives.
Yeah.
It's like wine made at a higher temperature, so it's burnt.
It's surprising how close brandy is to wine.
Yeah. And it can also be made from other fruits like apples and apricots and all of that stuff. Now here's the interesting thing: if you make brandy from wine, then you don't have to label it. But in many countries, if you make it from grapes, then you don't have to label it. But if you make it from any other fruits, then you do have to label it. And there are also different types of brandy as well. Like cognac is a type of brandy that's made from very specific grapes that are grown in the Cognac region of France. And the aging is such that if the drink is aged 4 years, I think 2 years, then it's
VSOP. 3 is 4 years. It's a VSOP. If it's more,
it's VS. It's very
VS.
special. And then 4 years, it's VSOP, which is very superior old pale or very special old pale. And then more than 6 years, it is an XO or Napoleon. That's also a synonym for the XO.
But Napoleon tastes horrible though.
Well, Napoleon isn't a Napoleon though.
Yeah. So let's do the smell test. It's kind of strong.
It smells just like wine in a way.
Let's try and get into the specifics this time for ThinkShack. Like, let's try and find the notes.
Right.
It's very acidic.
Yeah.
It's
fruity. There are definitely fruits in here.
And sawdust. There's probably more scientific terms for these things.
And sawdust might come from the fact that all brandy is aged in wooden casks.
It smells quite nice.
So they will impart some of their, flavor to it.
It's a different smell depending on the nostril.
Yeah.
That's some special kind of witchcraft. It's like changa, probably you smell it with your nose and then...
I don't know, I'd guess maybe they... it's probably bullshit, but like maybe they connect to different parts of the brain. So
probably
this is a right-brained nostril.
That would need you to pour it in a very specific way.
Well,
yeah. That would mean one part is this side and the other. Yeah, who knows? Maybe. Oh, you mean the nostrils?
The nostrils, they get different smells because they connect to different sides of the brain, so they process the smells.
The winemakers, they found a way to I don't know. Different things.
Now that would be quite the miracle.
All right, let's give it a taste test.
All right. It's burnt wine. It literally tastes like burnt wine.
It's really not bad.
It's not bad. It has a certain zing to it, but not as bad as, say, gin or, it doesn't burn the throat. It's just like enjoyable. The zing is felt in your mouth. Like you can feel a bit of bitterness in your mouth. But
what did you think? You tasted it, right? The audience members?
I feel like it tastes like
It tastes like what?
She is so keen.
Like, it tastes like fruits, kind of. Like, I don't know if
it's fruity, yeah.
Yeah, fruity.
It's very fruity.
And also, woody.
Yes.
The woody aroma. Yeah, it's from because it's aged in wooden casks. Yeah, there's like a certain aroma at the back of your aftertaste at the back of your throat.
I feel like this is a good way to start with a nice taste. It's not horse piss.
It's not horse piss, even though it does look like it.
How would you rate this out of 10?
I would actually rate this. I mean, this is literally like because we've had Shustov and Moldova. Was Shustov sweet or bitter? Do you remember if it was sweeter or bitter?
I would say it's more neutral. This is very fruity compared to.
You don't remember? Yeah. There's something to be said about different kinds of memories, like an olfactory memory. You ever see people who are so good at remembering certain scents, certain tastes? It can tell you exactly how the air smelled on the morning of May 23rd, 2000. It's like, I remember distinctly smelling roses.
You know, normal people would do that if there was a very significant bad smell in that area. Yo, remember that day on the 21st when Johnny farted?
Yeah.
Something like that. And people are like, oh, that was horrible.
Yeah, but it can work in other ways as well. Like when you smell, when like a scent is pass over your nose, and then it reminds you of something because at that time you had smelled the exact same thing. You know, like I don't know, maybe when your girlfriend, found your girlfriend cheating. You literally opened the door
and then you said, "Women are not to be trusted."
Yeah, literally opened the door and she was having her cheeks clapped. You remember smelling distinct coffee, and now you can never like the smell of coffee anymore. Every time you smell coffee, it's like that's fucking trifling whore. Yeah. You know.
You go to Java and you're like, that bitch.
Exactly. It's a strong olfactory memory because like it just ties.
And what's worse is it gets worse and worse when you look at the menu. You remember your favorite food. So you come in, you said that bitch.
It just builds up.
Oh, what's up? And then you look at the menu.
It's like just like a bunch of like, you know, let's create these associations in this guy's mind so he can't escape the patterns and just like feel like shit.
Wife.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I would rate it at, because it's like, compared to Shustov and Moldova, I rated it an 8 or a 9.
Same here. It's at the
and
top.
maybe Shustov is maybe an 8. I don't remember it very clearly, but I feel like this is better.
Things don't have to be expensive or I don't know, like complex to taste good. Shustov was a VSOP, I believe.
Yeah, it was. It was a VSOP.
And this tastes significantly better.
But this is also a VSOP. Because this is aged 5 years and Shustov was aged 5 years.
I'm not a heavy drinker, and you know this because I don't like hard liquor. I'm a beer person. But this one is one of the few that you can actually savor.
Yeah.
I've never had a liquor that you can actually savor. You can put in your...
It's like I wouldn't mind having this hang around the house, you know, every once in a while, take a sip.
With my throat, I'm taking it on the tongue, which is like, you would never do that with gin.
Yeah, with gin it's like, and then you have to like contort your face in all sorts of ways just for it to go down. You know?
We should do the gin Olympics. When we go to video, we should do the gin Olympics. See how many people, how many faces people could make. And then we create an album, put it on a t-shirt.
Wait, how would we do that? That sounds like a brilliant idea.
We just record the close-ups of their face, have them taste gin, and then make faces without telling them there's a camera there, so that they don't feel self-conscious. You just tell them sit in front of this camera. No, you don't tell them sit in front of this camera. You put a hidden camera in front of them, have them taste the gin, and then they'll make the face naturally. They'll be like.
Okay,
and
so
then you take a snapshot.
Shit, why don't we go to a club one day and just do this?
We'll be able to do it at a club though.
Or have like a bunch of volunteers come here, or like and then just buy a bunch of gin. Like we could start with like, you know, just ask for volunteers, like from the Instagram page. Anyone want to come for the gin Olympics? Like 10 people,
your faces will be used for a t-shirt.
And you know what's in it for me? Free gin.
And your faces will be used on a t-shirt, so you get royalties at some point down the line.
Yeah, exactly. Now that's a pretty clever idea. But anyway,
ads like we start with this is kind of like a by the way, but there was someone who placed an ad. That was which year was it? There's some U.S. or was he American serial killer?
It was a guy.
He was a weirdo. He placed an ad for someone who was willing to, I don't know, be slaughtered and eaten. And they recorded. They got some random weirdo showed up. They agreed to it.
They answered the ad. So it went like this, right? So it starts like this. In 2000.
Eli, put some background music.
Yeah.
This one we need like, no, not the Kamba one. That's if we're going to Machacos.
So I'm gonna
interesting music.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read this stuff, and let's see. In 2002, Armin Melwes, I don't know what country he's from, received international attention for murdering and eating a voluntary victim who he had found via the internet. So, looking for a willing volunteer, Melwes posted an advertisement on a website called The Cannibal Cafe. His advertisement stated that he was looking for a well-built 18 to 25-year-old to be slaughtered and then consumed.
But he got a 45-year-old.
And then burned Jürgen Armando Brandes. That is one long name.
A name like that, I'm so shocked.
Yeah. A 43-year-old engineer from Berlin answered the advertisement in March 2001. The two made a videotape when they met on 9th March 2001 in Melwes' home.
Pause for a second. Now, they made a video with the intention or with the idea that people are going to want to see this.
Yeah, like, let's document this shit, right?
Where did they get the idea that there will be a target audience?
Brandes initially insisted that Melwes should attempt to bite his penis off.
Does that make you gay?
This did not work, and ultimately Melwes used a knife to remove it.
This is crazy. No, let's just visualize it for a second. Like, I've seen your ad, you want to eat me, fine, cool. I've shown up to your house, you want to eat my dick first. That's weird. Number one, okay, you want to eat my dick first, so. And I'm like, I want you to bite it off.
Yeah, if you're gonna eat it, I want you to bite it off. Like, okay, fine, I'll try.
No, bite it off.
bite it, and then he tries. Like, I'll try.
Like, try again, try
it's
this
like,
way.
it's not working. Ah, fuck. Okay, fine. Let's just use a knife. I have no idea.
Did he get hard at any point?
I mean, it gets more interesting, guys. So, Brandeis apparently tried to eat some of his own penis raw, but could not.
Was he bleeding at the time?
Yeah, because it was too tough and, as he put it, chewy.
Yeah.
Melrose then fried the penis.
I don't like this penis. It is too chewy. Go to the chef and...
I don't like my own penis.
It tastes too chewy.
Melrose then fried the penis in a pan with salt, pepper, wine, and garlic.
Sounds like a tongue twister.
Yeah.
Fried the penis in a pan.
Yeah. He then fried it with some of Brandeis' fat, but by then it was too burnt to be consumed.
What fat?
His body fat.
But he had just cut his penis. He didn't cut... How did they get the rest of the fat?
I don't know. I have no idea what the gory details are.
That shit is wild.
He then chopped the penis up into chunks and fed it to his dog.
It gets better.
Melrose then ran Brandeis a bath and then stabbed him in the throat, after which he hung the body on a meat hook. The incident was recorded on a 4-hour videotape, which has never been released to the public due to its gruesome contents.
Do you know, before they knew it was 4 hours, someone had to sit through and watch it.
Exactly.
Rest in peace to those moderators. Like, your mental health will never be the same. Facebook moderating is one of the worst jobs ever.
It is. It is mentally depressing. Like, it's mentally challenging. A lot of these people need therapy after they work as moderators at
Facebook. If you think about it, even notwithstanding what you see on the video,
right,
the fact that people are putting these things out there so carelessly, like violent videos and stuff like that, at such an alarming rate that you have to have a team for it, it makes you question the dignity of humanity, or even the essence of humanity. It's more philosophical, so it puts you into a weird mental crisis where you're like, fuck, people are this dark.
I just like to think of it from the perspective of statistics. 8 billion people. And the brain is basically this, 300 cubic centimeter volume with a combination of cells and chemicals working a certain way. Every possible combination distributed among 8 billion people is going to exist. In some of those combinations, you're not producing enough of a certain, hormone or neurotransmitter that makes you empathetic, and so you end up a psychopath. In other combinations, you're not producing enough serotonin, and so you become depressed. In other combinations, you have extra folds in your cerebrum, so you turn out to be a genius. Like Einstein's brain has a lot more folds, because it's the surface area of the cerebrum that determines your processing power, and it does that by the folds in the neurons. In another combination, someone turns out to like eating people, and in another complementary combination, someone likes to be eaten. And these two met in what was probably a match made in hell. So I'm just saying, statistically, imagine humanity isn't gonna follow one motif.
Imagine
consistently
watching this, and then like this. I know you're not you're agnostic.
I'm agnostic. Yeah,
but just imagine.
I can relate. He's just got a fucking face palm, a huge face palm, as you watch. Like,
these people, this is
what the fuck?
And I imagine go with the Arab accent. What are you doing?
What are you doing? What is this? This is a disgrace to Allah.
That's God saying it's a disgrace to Allah.
Yeah.
And then there's like, wait, I'm Allah. His accent changes in between.
God sounds like he'd speak in third person. There's this interesting...
He speak with a very deep African accent.
This very interesting phenomenon in the Quran, because I grew up on the Quran, where like God always refers to himself in plural.
Yeah, plural.
In plural. So he was like, and we have made the earth, and we have done this, and we have bestowed unto... And I always wondered...
It's a translation thing?
I don't know if it's a translation thing or not, but I think I know. I might be pulling this out of my ass. So I think for most languages, there's a clear transference of meaning in terms of like plural and singular. Most languages can count.
But some words are so hard to define. Like it might even be a word that doesn't exist in English. So that becomes a pronoun that doesn't exist in English. So it becomes we is the closest thing.
Perhaps, yeah. But then my question was, and I had this growing up, one of Islam's basic tenets is that there is only one God.
Well, we're in the subject of language. Just a quick one, I'm sorry. But it's like, I'm just trying to illustrate my point. You see in Kiswahili, when you're talking about a cat, for example, you won't say she is. Cats have no gender, or animals have no gender. It's paka anafanya nini. And there's no way to define gender in Swahili.
No,
He
yeah,
calls them chap.
absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Like Swahili does fall short in some sections.
Does it fall short, or does it like encompass different things, big ideas in fewer words? We had this discussion.
We've had this discussion about linguistics, and we kind of like came to the conclusion that each language developed uniquely too. And we will have to pause again. Allow me to, please. And I'm pausing now.
You can pause anytime, actually. I bet the listeners always wonder how we come back from this energy level to this other one in the middle of nowhere.
It's because we suddenly have other shit to do, like
in the
eat.
middle of the recording. It might have been like 40 minutes between the time we paused, so this is why we sometimes sound different.
And now maybe we should just like dive right into the topics. So
blast through them.
Yeah. So first is Elon Musk limiting the number of tweets.
Was it the number of tweets? I don't think it was the number of tweets. It was more the.
It was a rate limit. Reads. Yeah, exactly. The number of tweets that you can read. So rate limits are basically at the moment 6,000 posts per day for verified accounts, 600 posts per day for unverified accounts, and 300 posts per day for new unverified accounts. I wonder what the difference is. Like, what's the expiry date on new?
They're trying to avoid spam according to this brief. They're trying to avoid using up their resources for.
Some people would disagree, though. Some people think Elon Musk is purposely sabotaging Twitter because he wants it to go down.
People always think Elon Musk is up to no good. I don't know why. He has an evil face, but...
Yeah, but then you see the announcement comes just a day after the social media platform decided to make it impossible for anyone without a Twitter account to read tweets. So there's been a string of like these weird directives he's been making at Twitter, like changes he's been making at Twitter, and they haven't made a lot of people happy because it does seem like it's just like, you know, doing random stuff. First of all, he increased the character limit from, I think it was at 144 then 256, then he increased it to 1,000 characters. Now you'll notice that people can write whole paragraphs on Twitter. And then of course he made it so that anyone can become verified if they pay $8 a month. So you don't actually need a verification, which has made like there's been a proliferation of fake news on the platform because of that. And also
because what happens is you register your name as like John Chege, for example, and then later you can change your username to something like Citizen News.
Yeah, a lot of people are getting impersonated. Exactly. So like people, some claim that he's probably trying to sabotage Twitter on purpose. And remember he also stepped down from being the CEO and gave it over to like a former NBC.
The heat was too much. The public heat was too much.
Not so much that as he just wanted it to look
for every decision.
Yeah, exactly. But then he's still pulling the strings from behind the scenes, right? Because like the whole rate limit comes after he was replaced as CEO. So the question is Elon Musk, are these like changes genuinely to improve Twitter, or is he purposely sabotaging it? And it kind of looks from like a lot of what's happening right now.
Why would he want to sabotage it though? That's my reason.
It was forcefully sold to him for starters.
How can something be forcefully sold to him for billions?
Remember when he bought it the first time, and then they'd agreed on a certain price, and then when it came time to pay, he just backed out of the deal, so they took him to court. And remember, he said he'd backed out because he had been looking into the way the thing is, and they'd misrepresented some information like about the number of bots on Twitter or something, and so he backed out. But they tried to force him to buy, and he ended up buying it for $51 billion, right?
So he wants to run it into the ground so he doesn't have to deal with it anymore.
Possibly, yes.
That is such an interesting situation to be in.
Also, like people Twitter just like stopped paying Google. It said it would stop paying Google.
But let's go back a bit. How did they stop? How did they make him have to pay them? Was it something that he signed in the contract?
Yeah, you sign in the contract that on a certain day you're gonna pay a certain amount, and in return you're gonna get a certain number of shares in Twitter. And if you breach the contract, if it's a breach of contract, they take you to court. In a lawsuit.
And then the settlement was that
so I'm saying there's just like a lot of other things that also like seem sus, like Twitter, after his contract with Google ended for like the Google Cloud platform where Twitter stores all of its data. Elon Musk said that Twitter would stop paying. It wouldn't continue paying at all. I guess because they were having some kind of feud with Google. It is also not been paying rent. you know, and paying its vendors for a very long time. He stopped paying for a lot of services because apparently he wants to save money, and you know, reduce the company's expenses. But then, you know, there are all these vendors and landlords that Twitter got into like agreements with before he joined that are now not very happy. And then there's the whole thing about laying off like 3/4 of the staff when he first joined, you know, supposedly to cut the...
But I feel like if he really wanted to sabotage it, he could have done it in a much easier way. He could plan something within his own company that is very damning, and then they could get shut down for what is this thing called, the rules against consumers or stuff like that. Yeah, fair trade agreements and things like that.
There's the other aspect that another argument is that maybe he's doing this to encourage people to go to verified accounts, because Twitter makes $8 a month off of every user that's verified. So having rate limits where, like, you know, the higher verification status, the more tweets you can read a day.
Very simple explanation, but it might be simple enough to be true, because that would make sense, quite a lot of sense. And Elon Musk is a smart businessman.
It might be, or it might be a mix of a lot of factors.
It might even be crowd chasing, because, you know, if you think about it, since Elon Musk bought Twitter, his attention has been on him more.
Yeah, exactly. He's been the center of attention,
and that increases his brand value, because people are talking about you. Then you would charge more for things like appearances. People want to do deals with you because they see you in the news. People talking about you. And you have a good track record, so he might be doing it to increase his social capital.
There might be some merit to that, because immediately after he said, the first set was, you know, for verified, unverified, and new unverified accounts. So it's 6,000 posts, 600, and then 300. And then later on, he announced, okay, we're increasing the rates to 8,000, 800, and then 400, right? And then later on, said we're increasing them to 10K, and then 1K, and then 0.5. So he's been progressively increasing these rate limits after imposing them, and that does raise a question. It's like, maybe he was just cloud chasing earlier, and now he's just like gradually going back to the norm, like you know, I don't know, taking everything back to where it was.
Billionaires have this sense of arrogance that they can do whatever they want, and they can really, like, they can just say, "Let me just fuck with this today," because, I mean,
let me just fuck shit up.
That are worth more than this.
Okay, so the other topic we're supposed to talk about is the civil war, rioting actually, that's happening in France. So it's been happening for 4 days after a teenage Muslim boy was shot by the police.
Teenage Muslim boy.
Yeah.
A bad combination of words to use before shot by the police.
Exactly.
It's like minority, child.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Minority black child, I don't know.
Minority ethnic child.
Yeah, exactly.
Indian Muslim boy is like, the only thing you could have been that's worse is disabled.
So what happened basically is thousands of officers have been deployed, right? So like, you know, this teenage boy was shot in a yellow car by the police, and then, you know, they started rioting. So thousands of officers have been deployed, and more than 100 people have been arrested. There's a lot going on, and France has a long history of riots and violence,
involving
and it always
disputes or like multicultural.
It's always involved. So basically, in France, there is a system known as the banlieue. I don't know if banlieue.
It's like a district. It's like it's like a section of the neighborhood or something like that.
Exactly. So, like, basically, what happened is, after the Second World War, the French government began to provide social housing en masse, right? And it resulted in thousands of tower blocks, these banlieues, being built on the periphery of French cities between 1945 and 1975. And these were originally designed for lower middle class families who commuted for work. But in the 1970s, with high unemployment and racial tensions following the Algerian War and the end of French colonialism, they became increasingly occupied by low-income immigrant communities. Because there's always been a lot of immigration to France by North African and West African countries, right?
It has to do with the way the EU is set up, right? Because to travel between EU countries, you don't need a visa or a passport. You just go through without much interruption.
No, but it's also former colonies. So like North African countries are former colonies of France, and a lot of West African countries. So they do tend to immigrate there. And France itself is also very permissive to immigration. So that's the thing. Now,
look at the French national team, the national football team, you realize that
it's mostly Africans. Yeah. So now crime was high in these tower blocks, right? Because, you know, the basically these were high-risk areas, you know, low-income families, so crime was high, and young people on the streets would often clash with police, who had a reputation for a brutal zero-tolerance policy of unrest. Now, what happens is that the first riot happened in 1979 in the Lyon suburb, right? And then there was another notable one in 2005 that lasted for 3 weeks. It started in Clichy-sous-Bois. Is that Clichy-sous-Bois? Is that how you spell it? How you pronounce it?
Where?
This one right here.
Clichy-sous-Bois. Yeah.
Clichy-sous-Bois, north of Paris, when 2 youths were electrocuted and died as they tried to evade the police. This was in 2005. Now, ever since, there's been a whole string of such riots, and it's basically a battle between the far and the far left. On the one hand, the far right are like, you know, in France, like the police needs to maintain this hard line. They need people need to get in line. You know, these are immigrants anyway. We don't want them here. They're ruining our culture and whatnot. And the far left is like, the police needs to be compassionate with these people and stop racially profiling them and committing such violence to them. And we should be more permissive with immigration because these people come to the country and get a lot of opportunities. So of course, it's a bit of a debate between the two. Macron is noted as saying, the former president of France, as you know, like condemning the police's actions. Yet back during a former riot, sorry, not Macron, but Sarkozy, Nicolas Sarkozy, back then was known for saying that we should clean out the estates with a karcher because he was like anti-immigrant, right? Okay. But now he's pro-immigrant because like, no, you know, these police are brutal and
us.
So there's a tendency also by the media to push for the far left vision, which is that the police are brutal and we need to be permissive of immigration. But there is a far right that's not covered enough by the media that thinks that the influx of immigration, of immigrants into France is actually eroding the culture, and these ethnic clashes are because these people are just different culture-wise. Yeah.
So that raises questions about what a multicultural society actually looks like from the inside. Because you would assume that people are tolerant and everything like that, but then you find that there's always these tensions. There's something similar happening in India as well, where they have these types of it's not really ethnic, it's more religious based. But
Hindus and Muslims.
Yeah, there's always these tensions that are not so visible if you look at people in general, like as a whole.
Right.
And when you get there, you see the multicultural, multi-religious places. You tend to have a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Silent hatred towards each other.
Right.
It keeps building. And then manifests itself through the way businesses are conducted.
There's definitely an argument to be made here for a country just having a particular single culture, because some of the most peaceful, most prosperous countries in the world are homogenous. It's just one type of people living in it. Like, I don't know, name random
Japan.
European, exactly, one type of people, same culture, not a cultural melting pot, and things just work. And then on the other hand, there are countries that somehow, like, you know, make the case for multicultural societies, like the United States. But even then, the United States has a lot of like ethnic clashes.
Way too many. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I don't know.
We have Africa as well, with a lot of like the different people.
Tribes. Yeah, exactly. So you know, maybe cultures should they should not be forced to live together like that.
I think it's more of an economic problem. It's more about you have more people competing for the same resources, and now they're in groups. They can have conflicting.
There's always going to be a sense of us versus them.
Yeah, because you have conflicting ideologies, whether they differ by a lot or by a little.
Right.
So you have all these different ideas, and every one of them is fighting for importance.
Right.
So you find that people tend to have these like it's more about economics, because just people grouping themselves for their own goal. And then struggling to, I don't know, take dominion of the resources. But it's not necessarily like, people don't see it as more, what's the word I'm looking for? Subconsciously. Yeah, but it's more about the economic resources. Because you find that, what's the issue here? These people are taking away our jobs. Like, for example, in France, these foreigners are coming and selling drugs. So they have a thing where it's more about they're taking our money, or taking our resources. You find that they have issues probably because they've seen those people who are selling drugs in their country do better than them.
Right.
So it's more about like they're taking up space that should be ours. It's
right.
more of an economic problem.
So it's a bitterness coming from the economic
it's not necessarily because
inequality.
of the cultures, because everybody individually is different from the other person.
Right.
So just by that definition, would have, if every personality was a culture, would have 8 billion cultures out there. That would mean explosion or implosion or whatever.
Right.
So it's not because people are different. It's just because the fewer similarities, or the more
competing for the resources.
Exactly. You have people competing for the same resources, and now they're in groups because they're
right.
I don't know, the groups are culture in quotes, or nationality, or religion.
Yeah, so I think we'll leave that as an open question for anyone to interpret and come in the comments and tell us what they think about the whole situation.
What do you think should happen? Do you think countries should have a more open foreign policy?
Mm-hmm.
Or did they become protectionist? Or they close the walls, the borders like North Korea?
Right, exactly.
To get news from North Korea. We want to do a section, it's called Spin the World. We'll give you interesting factoids, and we're going to put some music, a nice theme.
Right, yeah.
I thought it would be a nice segue.
And today we have two, actually.
We have two.
So the first one is Mexico, where a Mexican mayor married a caiman in a unique traditional ceremony. Now, this one is pretty interesting.
I think you should say crocodile for people who don't know what a caiman is.
A caiman is an alligator, like it's in the same family as the alligators and crocodiles. Yeah, it's like a really tiny alligator or something like that.
It's like gecko, it's like a really tiny alligator. Geckos.
Yeah, well, this
really
one is much bigger than a gecko for
like
sure.
The guy who had the record for the world's smallest dick. Apparently, there's a documentary about someone with the world's tiniest penis.
Yeah.
Not to digress. So
basically, yeah, it happened in this particular town, right? So this is what town is this? So it's in what's the name of the town? Oh.
What was that sound you made at the end?
That was just me.
Like Johnny Bravo, how he used to make sounds. Johnny Bravo was suffering from mental illness, if you think about it.
Really?
No, but he had really clever pickup lines. There's one where he talked to this girl, and she was like, I have a boyfriend. And he was like, well, flex is a bit, you look like the kind of girl that could use two. It's so clever. Like, the girl tells you she has a boyfriend, and like, yeah, I'll give you one more. I don't know what you call that brand of humor. Like dry humor.
It's, I don't know,
like
it's like this thing where they I don't know, like turn it against you, you know, like you try to be negative and then they turn it against. Oh, it's called San Pedro Huamelula. That's the name of the town.
Bet you there's a brothel in Kenya called San Pedro.
Yeah, Huamelula, where all the hoes are alligators.
Or dressed like them.
Or dressed like them.
Brothel people are in alligator costumes.
Yeah. So the mayor of San Pedro, Victor Hugo Sosa, tied the knot with the reptile under a centuries-old ritual. Wow. That's the thing, it's actually a ritual to bring good harvest and peace between the Chontal and Huave indigenous groups. These are the people who have existed there.
How does marrying an alligator bring peace to any community?
Now you see, a man and a female caiman have been marrying for 230 years in that town to mark the day when two indigenous groups declared peace with a marriage. According to folklore, a Chontal king married a princess girl of the Huave indigenous group, now represented by the female alligator.
Wow, they were so ugly.
And the wedding is conducted for the communities to connect with the earth and wish for rain for a good harvest.
Yo, I just thought of something dark. Connect with the earth is something like, maybe a rapper could use it to say makes people die. Like,
what?
Make people connect with the ground. I'm threatening someone, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna make you connect with the ground.
Yeah, I'm gonna connect your soul with the ground. With this Glock, I don't know.
That was the least threatening threat I've ever heard in my life.
So, like, before the wedding ceremony, the female alligator is taken to local houses for dancing.
They do a honeymoon, that would be hilarious.
No.
The honeymoon with an alligator. You take pictures, post on Facebook.
And then they actually, they dress the alligator in wedding attire. And then they shut the mouth for safety. And then after the wedding, the mayor dances with the bride and then plants a kiss on the alligator's snout.
Imagine if it was customary for him to have sex with the alligator. And people watch.
That would be taking it too far. Because the whole, I mean, all of this is symbolism, right? It's just a ritual. It's kind of like,
crocodile should be on a t-shirt.
It's kind of like the Passover where we give out like wine, and this is their version of it. Because like, oh, this is my body and this is my heart or whatever. This is my blood.
Crocodile, female crocodile.
So
Why not a
if
male
he fucked the
crocodile?
crocodile, I think they'd be taking the metaphor too far.
Yeah, that's making peace between.
But the crocodile represents like a princess.
Do you think the crocodile wants to be a part of this? I feel like the crocodile. Nobody considers.
It's actually a
the crocodile.
caiman. We really have to call it what it is.
Nobody considers
It's a caiman.
the caiman's feeling. Like, maybe it's literally being forced into marriage.
Yeah.
Its mouth shut.
Like
And it's female.
I'd rather be eating chickens right now.
Feminists should be
really.
should be mad.
It doesn't even get to express itself.
Feminists should be mad. It's a
Do you?
female. Gags.
What about the part? I mean, I know they don't have Christian weddings, but the part where it's like, do you, Miss Cayman? It's actually called La Niña Princesa. It's like the little girl princess. Do you, La Niña Princesa, agree to take this man for better or worse? It's like, I want to say no.
They can't get me the fuck out of here.
And the reverend's like, okay, that's a yes.
And it's female. Make it worse, like because. Feminazis should be mad. They're gagging the females, putting into forced marriage. They probably did FGM to it as well. FGM to crocodile.
That caiman doesn't have a clit. It's cut off.
Oh my goodness.
So anyway, I don't know. That is an interesting ritual.
The country of what? Mexico was that?
That was Mexico.
Mexico's a weird.
Then there's the one from Jamaica, right? So a British man dies. I know. Actually, it's pretty interesting because the family, like this guy is a British man in Jamaica. He tried to attempt a stunt where he drink all 21 cocktails featured on a bar's menu, and then his name is Timothy Southern, right? So he died in his hotel room after downing 12 of the 21 cocktails on the menu. The family has since started a GoFundMe that reads, "Please help bring our dad home from Jamaica," which has currently raised £9,000 out of his goal of 15.
Sounds like a meme.
Please.
Wait, first of all, your dad went and got drank himself to death.
And then
Why
now
that's his fault?
you raise funds to bring him back home.
So why?
So you can bury him.
So you can bury him. Wow, that's even bringing attention to yourself. That's so sad though. If you think about.
I mean, it's sad because it means his family has no money to bring him back home from Jamaica, which means that guy probably shouldn't have been going on vacation. He should have been saving up that money.
He was in a fucking mood. He was just like, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna go to Jamaica from God knows where.
I'm gonna have all the fun of my life, even if it kills me. That's literally what he said when he was boarding. 21. When he was boarding the plane.
But wait, was that a challenge that was actually instituted by the bar? Like they actually have.
I'm guessing that's probably how it started.
If it is, they will be liable to murder because if you incite someone to do something that you know will cause them bodily harm, grievous bodily harm, that is equivalent to manslaughter.
Yeah, but who would you arrest? Like let's say you go to a bar and you're like this guy. Like you're surrounded by lots of patrons of the club, the bartender, like a whole bunch of people.
Lawsuits, shut the place down, have a lawsuit, and then they'll pay the family at least the damages.
Wow.
Yeah, because honestly. If you go to a place where they encourage people to stab each other, they tell you, oh, the knives are safe, then someone dies. Then clearly, it was a dangerous thing to begin.
It was a dangerous thing, so they do hold
everywhere it
some
says
kind of
excessive consumption is harmful to your health.
It's harmful.
Now imagine a bar that says, "Oh, you can drink 21, you get them free." That is
fuck you. You just want me to die, yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, I'd love to know the details. They didn't really give me much of the details, but yeah, I can totally see an angle there for like the venue being shut down.
The venue could probably be.
But then again, it's Jamaica. I mean, not to shit on Jamaica, but how effective is the legal system?
Yeah, man. You want to drink some cocktail?
Exactly.
Girl, you want to drink me? Why do they always sound so aggressive? I heard a song recently, and it's not new. It's by Alkaline. It's called Move Mountains. The first lyric is, I think Eli should play it. I have a penis for your vagina.
Really?
Yeah, I wish I could play it. We could probably even play it right now. Let's play it as we do this. Like,
I mean, Eli can play it.
Yeah, but I want you to react.
Oh, you want me to? Are we supposed to pause?
No, let's just keep recording.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We shouldn't lose the off-the-cuff element of ThinkShack.
Off the fucking cuff.
Just make sure it's not too loud.
It'll probably be a little loud. I am looking for it. It's called Alkaline. Alkaline Fleek.
You know, it's Move Mountains.
Alkaline Move Mountains.
Move.
I just cleared it.
Yeah. I get it. We are currently, this is probably going to go to behind the scenes, but some of these usually make it to the record. We're on, this is Sunday Drives or Sunday Driver.
Sunday Drives.
Jurisdiction.
There it is.
Very nice.
Okay, Move Mountains.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Things Me Love, explicit.
Yeah. Listen, you're gonna die.
I mean, okay, so because of copyright, I think Eli will have to mute it or something.
Like,
but the song is Alkaline Move Mountains, guys.
Mountains is hilarious. It sounds like some kind of love song when it starts.
This guy tattooed his eyes.
He's a weirdo.
Okay, that's it.
That voice.
I have a penis for your vagina, boy. Or girl, or whatever.
It's vagina hole.
Vagina hole. Vagina
what
hole.
Is a vagina hole. It sounds so vulgar.
Yes.
You don't use that in sex talk. Like you're trying to seduce a girl.
It's the vagina.
I love your vagina hole.
Bring your vagina hole over here.
And he says it in such an innocent way. That song will not let you listen to it with your family. Like it could be. You know
who has a penis for all our collective vagina holes? The Ruto government.
Why? Yeah.
Because it's been fucking
us. But
us.
think about this. The way that song starts, you wouldn't expect. Like if it's on shuffle, you're like, okay, what song is this?
Like,
the first line would embarrass you. You don't have time. Like you would listen with your parents, grandparents. I have a penis for your vagina hole. By the time you get
so
to the
clearly,
radio,
in such clarity, you know,
no innuendo.
They cannot miss it.
Like this, you're playing at the family gathering.
Like I swear, I did not know that was gonna happen.
At the church, I have a penis.
At the wedding.
Yeah, at the wedding.
DJ just plays it. It might work at a wedding though if everyone wants to get rambunctious.
Yeah.
Anyway, so speaking of like the government, you know that Raila wants Maandamano to start again on July 7th.
It's like it's his only antidote to everything. I bet you if he goes to the toilet, to the bathroom, and then the tissue paper runs out, he calls for Maandamano.
Will people even join him? Like, I feel moved on with their lives because the last time he did this.
There's always a bunch. Raila has people up his ass, like, all the time. Like, he can find rowdy youth, or no, just people to riot.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Yeah.
That's a weird flex.
It's
you know how many people I can gather up tomorrow?
He's like some kind of fucking prophet, you know? Like, he's like a religious following, you know?
5,000 people? That's it? That's all you want?
Maandamano
tomorrow.
And they'll even come with like, you know, slingshots and shit, you know, because they're really good at hurling rocks.
You go with a girl somewhere and then you want to show you have money. So you would like whatever drink you want.
Mm.
So you walk with him and he's like, okay, I've been thinking maybe I need to start a riot. Like, how many people do you want? Like, how many do you have? Oh, I have.
It's about how many you want.
It's about how many you want. Maandamano? Today even.
But now,
any day.
that's the other thing about this shit. Like, does it ever solve? And do they even propose any solutions? Ultimately, they just get in talks with the government, and then he gets like some backdoor deal, and then he shuts up.
For me, the bigger problem is how he has the government on a chokehold. Like, literally, he has people doing whatever he wants. Like, I can call for Maandamano. He's a
if I want like a new position in the government, I'll get it. I'll just call for Maandamano. That's literally his application, job application.
The opposition in any country is there just to frustrate the people, and I feel like Raila is playing his character really well. He's like the final boss that won't die.
Yeah.
I saw a funny joke about how they tried to assassinate him. Some guy on Twitter was on stories that Jabba. He was like, I told you, this guy turns into a fly anytime they come and shoot him. No, he turns into a goat anytime they come and they try and shoot him. Because how did those bullets get to the car and not touch him a single time? He turns into a goat. But wait, wouldn't the bullets kill that goat?
I was gonna ask the same question. Is a goat better at dodging bullets than a human?
When the goat starts to see the bullet comes, it turns into a fly. He's metamorphosizing.
It just gets progressively smaller. And when the fly sees the bullet coming, it turns into bacteria. You know, it's like
it's just basically devolves entirely
until it's nothing but a molecule.
During one assassination attempt.
What
the more bullets fly, the more he transforms. They start shooting needles. It becomes even smaller. Like whatever you got, I can be smaller than it.
At some point,
it's gonna turn to nothing. But the funny thing is, this is supposed to happen instantaneously. Like the bullets come. Like if you pause it in super slow motion, it's turning into flies, goats, amoebas.
Why is it also turning into the ugliest creatures ever? Instead of turning into a goat, why is it turning into a beautiful dog or a cat? Instead of turning into a fly, why doesn't it turn into a butterfly? Why is it a fucking housefly? Why is it literally the most disgusting insect you could think of?
It's the way he talks. He sounds like a housefly.
No. Bench. Oh wow, that was a good laugh. I think we can end this here because we're done with all the topics.
Wait, we're done? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was
guys,
literally the last
It
one.
has been amazing. I can't believe it's been a whole... Let me even check. I don't even know how many minutes it's
Mm-hmm.
been. How did I go to Netflix? It has been 54 minutes. That was...
Oh,
quite a
that's
fun
pretty
episode.
cool, yeah.
We hope you enjoyed it. I think it was quite lively.
Yeah, it was. It was an awesome episode.
Very energetic.
So until next time, guys,
Keep it safe
and don't turn into a fly.
and keep it locked. If you turn into a fly, make sure you do it quick.
This is the Fly Shack.
The Fly
I'm
Shack.
Ramsey.
This is Jean. Catch you on the next one.
All right.